We're diving right into this one. Spending a second saying thank you to my usuals for taking time to watch me work on stupid things like I do. But yeah, that's not what today's video is about. We need to go get some welding gas because I ran out in the middle of working on the dart, which is something that would happen, of course, while I'm working on the dart because everything seems to go wrong on that car and it's just fantastic. Moving a couple boxes real quick before we go check any of that out. What I gotta do is fix this. Clearly, if you look, you can see. What the hell? I don't know if the viewfinder just hadn't woken up all the way there or what exactly was going on, but through the viewfinder, everything had a purple silhouette around it. And then I just rewatched that footage through the viewfinder and it didn't, I don't know. But like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, yeah, half of that tire sticks out of the fender. You walk to the back, and I've always actually done this by, if you notice where the rain goes and cleans the tire off, is to literally about the halfway line, that white line, like perfectly halfway, half of the tire sticks out. Well, when you walk back here to the back, that's not the case. We got, what, a quarter of the tire sticking out, somewhere around that. And having an uneven track width like that has always bugged me on all of my cars. If it's a drift car, a little bit skinnier in the back doesn't bother me. Makes it drive like a tricycle, which feels kind of good. But yeah, far from stuck. Helped us out, of course, because I don't trust anybody else. And no, that's not one. There's two. But some 2-inch spacers. Gotta go ahead and slap these guys on the back. Just a quickie little time lapse of knocking that out. And then I gotta drag the argon tank up front and put it in the back of the truck and go get more argon, because yeah, I'll show you guys real fast. Well, this clip has turned into a Rambletron anyways. This stupid I don't know if I ever showed, but yeah, I did finish the barn door, so now we have an enclosed garage. But yeah, I literally, you can see, stopped in the middle of welding. Had some TIG rod out for a little bit of Texas TIG, and this is the outside piece that we cut off. This is the inside piece that we cut out. And that's the result. It's not terrible. It's not perfect by any means. Obviously, I still have to go through and blend it. And unfortunately, this panel came up a little bit short. So I got to add in a secondary triangle. But looking at it, tripping on stuff. Looking at it, especially from like this line, I'll zoom in a little bit. That looks perfect. I love it. It's the actual line that the car is supposed to have again. And that's all that really matters to me. Yeah, this flustered the crap out of me. These duster panels obviously were not exactly what they were supposed to be. I'm gonna put a picture in here of how little I actually ended up using from each panel. And then in between all of that stuff, I have just been messing around with bodywork. Just trying to get this thing to be smooth and glassy instead of that terrible finish that it was. Instead of the mountain range that we did have, if it wants to focus, it's actually starting to lay out pretty good like glass. Just got to go through and feather in a little bit more of that Bondo and we're good to go. This is officially turned into a ramble, so I need that out that way somehow and into the big truck. But first, wheel spacers. Well, finally think I figured out what that loud popping sound was. Note to self. Whoa. Wait a minute. It can't go backwards, but it can go forward. Did I break my Detroit? I mean, realistically, it's not the end of the world because I wanted to pull that cover off anyways and repowder coat it because that's spray paint. Back then I couldn't powder coat, and like I said, I got the whole back of the truck to redo. So I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. I'm gonna knock this other one off camera and message a couple buddies and try and decide, did I break my diff? Explains what that loud pop noise was. But yeah, I'll figure it out later. Not really having a plan for today's video, not really knowing what I'm gonna do there, realizing that I got stuff all over my screen, which is fantastic. Yeah, I'm putting in a picture. Getting the cylinder out of the back of the truck. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Loading the cylinder into the back of the truck would have been the dumbest thing in the world, except the guy at Airgas was smarter than me. And we just used the lift gate to get it in there, which was pretty cool. Spacers make the truck feel a little different, but to be honest, I don't think it's the spacers. I'm still worried about the whole differential situation and why it lets that one wheel spin forward. What's funny though is if I rock it back, then go forward, I can lock that wheel up. And that's actually how I ended up tightening these lug nuts, was by rocking it back and then going to go forward so it would lock. Does that mean I have a broken axle? Not sure. I'm gonna end up having to pull the cover off and drain the fluid, check, make sure there's no chunks, look and see, make sure everything's in there. Realistically, it's a 14 bolt, so to pull this axle out, the easiest way would be to take that out. Don't want to do that. Changing today's plans entirely, instead of going and welding more on the Dart, it's going to be a video about the square body because now I'm worried about the square body. So, PPE Performance transfer case brace for 01 to 07s, and then they have different parts for other years, but obviously I got the 01 to 07 because 03 LV7? Yeah. I don't really need to explain that. I did have the initial idea, maybe I should powder coat the sky blue, but it's stainless steel and it goes, I should just bring it over here and start installing it and show you where it goes, but we'll figure that out together. It goes up yonder into the dark hole depths of hell. So yeah, get this thing pulled apart, read the instructions. It looks like I'm using the stock bolts again, which is gonna be nice. Yeah, 4 rear bolts off the housing for the Allison, 2 transfer case bolts, and basically, as you can see in the picture, it takes the slack up of your transfer case and holds the transfer case from the top. That way, all of your weight of your transfer case isn't just through these 6 bolts right here. Because, to be honest, I thought that was a design flaw, big time on Duramax on GM's part. The transfer case just floats, and if you've done a transfer case swap, like I have recently, going from the 263 XHD to the 261 manual T-case that I have now, lifting that thing up there was a pain in the butt. Yeah, I did buy a new transfer case because it felt like the smart thing to do, but jeez, was that not what I wanted? So, worrying about tail housing cracks, all that stuff. Yeah, I bought one of these and we're gonna put it in. Figure it out together. A little bit of a Rambletron and a little bit of a random video today, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm supposed to be trying to be a YouTuber and produce more frequent, better content. But I feel like when I do more frequent content, it's just more crap, so let's put some parts on, stop talking, and worry about other stuff. And of course, now that I'm under here, realizing there's no way to even get B-roll or anything to show you. Besides, we can kind of see it under the corner. It's installed, roughly. Yeah, the bolts are tight. I did remember now that I never loomed these 2 wires. They're just kind of temporarily spaghettied in there. A couple things I obviously need to redo on Old Blue, but it also reminded me of how nice my floors are. This is just dirt and grease. Look at this. Wipe it away, and that's OG paint underneath. Jeez, it's just dirt and grime everywhere. I got a little surface rust attempting to start, but oh, smack the microphone and everything. It's so windy. I don't know if you can see how cold I am, but yeah, let's get in the garage, talk about some of the last things, and end this one out. It's a short one, boys. Okay, buddy stopped by and I saw a car pull up behind Blue, which kind of threw me for a loop, so yeah, messed up a clip there. Braces in. Stoked. I checked my wheel bearings because, like I said, the truck does feel a little different. The wheel bearings, I think, are fine. Everything feels great. I had replaced, I believe, the passenger one a few months back. Driver one's still, to my knowledge, OEM, but feels tight, feels nice. The only thing I'm really starting to think is these Heims are probably smoked on the steering linkage, and then I no longer like how that bend is and that bend is. I don't know. There's a bunch of things I'm going to be redoing, and like I said, we have everything to redo. I have made sure I got Heims, I got new bungs, I have tube downstairs. I made sure to get some powder in stock so I can recoat the new bars the correct colors. And as usual, we have the turbo. We have all oil lines, fittings, we have injectors, we have everything we could possibly. Phone calls, people showing up at the house, me just trying to get some work done. It's average Joe story. Yeah, it's done. Like I said before, I was again interrupted. Transfer case brace on this guy. I have a ton of parts. I don't like how the front feels anymore. We have tons of things to do. Can't even get that out in one clip. I don't know. Yeah, I love this truck. This truck is why the channel is where it's at. I 100% understand that. All the other projects have just been kind of bleh, and this thing has taken the lead. The Envoy was the initial, showstopper, and Blue has taken that title. I cannot wait to start on level 2 of this truck. I have so many things to do, so many people to thank, and with that, I'm gonna throw a clip in here that I actually just saw today while I was in the middle of making this video. One of my favorite channels, D-Max Rhino, Matthew D-Tig and Rhino, little review section lately, and they included this pile. I'm not gonna put the whole thing in because I want you to go to D-Max Rhino's channel and watch it, give him the views, but I'll throw in this little clip here.
Actually, I'm gonna.
Oh, what do you got one?
I think I'm gonna cherry pick one.
All right, Dedek's gonna cherry pick one. Let's see what Dedek's got.
Nope, not that one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry guys. That was a Ford OBS. Dedek's not a fan of the Ford OBS.
You know who I was gonna pick.
Okay, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I did it wrong. This is why you control it.
This is why you're not in control. All right. So we've got Joe here with a 1980 K30 crew cab short bed with an LB7 Duramax. Truck has about a 12-inch lift-on coilover, soon to be air in the rear. Nice. Build is in truck entirely because I found your channel on the first 2 episodes of Derek's truck. When you guys started that thing, I immediately bought a precision fabrication kit and began my own build. Awesome. Thank you for all you do, Rhino. And of course, Mr. Tig himself. Dedek, go ahead, buddy. I'm going to let you just have this one, man.
You know what's crazy? He says that he basically did this because of what I did to my truck. This thing is cooler than my truck.
Well, yeah, I agree on that.
It's 100%, dude. He's got coilovers in the front.
Those are beautiful.
Dude, this thing is.
Look how mean that looks.
I'm looking at this thing now.
And what can I say? Well, those 2 guys are my idols. D-Tig's truck, his flatbed is why this truck exists. Between Forged Rick's truck, Rick Jimenez's truck is to me as high as you can go up in there. I mean, Ashley Wheeler and Rick Jimenez, those 2 have the best of the best crew cabs. There's nothing better than those 2 trucks. D-Tig's truck to me is cooler. When he says his truck isn't as cool and he thinks my truck's cooler, I think he's crazy. I think his truck kills it. The Alcoa is the flatbed, and of course his LB, I think Z, is why I did a Duramax. you know, YouTubing, helping YouTuber, I don't know. It's amazing to see people like that talking about a little channel like me, and that just makes me feel like $1,000,000. It makes me feel like all of this money that I have shoved under this bench and into all of this stuff, and it's all been worth it, and it's going to continue to be worth it, and we're going to continue making this content, striving for more, and pushing to see what happens. But with that, like I said, short, sweet, to the point video. Transfer case brace. Keep saying transfer case. Transfer case brace is in. It is installed. Thank you, PPE, for making amazing parts. So pretty that I didn't even bother to powder coat them. But with that, like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Average Joe Builds, I'm out of here.